put it on. Right. So, according to this, we should be live. Hopefully that is the case. See where we're at with everything. Yay. There we go. There we go. Yes, I am. I'm live. I figured that I'd give it a go and have a crack at doing live for once, just to talk through some bits and pieces and have some conversations with everybody. Hello. It's a bit weird. I'm not used to doing this. I'm not normally one for going live, but I figured I'd give it a go and have a crack. Welcome everybody in the chat. Appreciate you all. So, how are we all feeling today? Everybody good? Everybody happy that it's Sunday? Ready for the week ahead next week? Ready to get cracking and get going? No, it's not the Ryan Kent announcement. Thank God. Although that name is going to haunt us. I mean, absolutely haunt us for a very, very, very long time. I do fear about that, unfortunately. So what the plan is today is to have a bit of a relaxed chat, a relaxed conversation, but we're going to cover 3 players overall. So we're going to look at, and forgive me, I'm trying to use technology here, so it might work, it might not work, but we're going to look at Elvedi, we're going to have a chat about Bornauw, and we're also going to have a little bit of a chat about Piroe as well, just to talk through some little bits and pieces as to where we are and what we're doing and what's actually going on. So, the ladies winning 7-0. Fantastic. Do like that. I do follow the ladies. I think the ladies do play very, very well. No worries, Pierre. You can watch it whenever you want, mate. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's do that first. Let's go to the Piroe thing, because that changed quite a few. Well, it moved and it changed and it got a bit awkward, because yesterday it came out that they were not happy about the fact that we weren't letting him leave, that he wanted to leave. They felt that the price was too high, and that his agent came out and said really silly stuff like, if it doesn't happen this summer, then Leeds better not talk to me ever again. All of that usual kind of rubbish and noise and nonsense that's just not relevant to or doesn't help anybody. But it's then come out since then, obviously, since that noise has come out. I think that's kind of forced Leeds' hand a little bit, just in terms of what needs to be done and what needs to go. So the fee that we want for him is allegedly £16 million, which for a striker, when you look at his 2 good seasons in the Championship, or his 2 good spells in the Championship, I should say, he's got in and around, I think it's like 70, 80 goals in, I want to say, just under 180 or 190 games, I think it is, overall. So from a monetary point of view, I don't have an issue with that. Is it a little bit high? Possibly. You could look at it and just sort of say that might be pricing people out of the market, but there might be a little bit of stubbornness on Leeds' side because of just how they're playing. So it's a shame that it got to where it got to, because it shouldn't have got to there. So what it means is or what's been said is that there has been interest in Piroe, but because of the price tag, that it's not been what's the right way of saying it? It's put people off because of the price tag. Now, with that being said, West Ham are absolutely, I say they're laden with money. They're not quite, because they've got a lot of money, that they've got about 200 million in bills that they need to pay for as well at this moment in time. So that 1 million loan fee with an option or obligation, depending on how you look at it, in terms of paying for a player. So 15 million if promoted. He will score goals in the Championship. That's Piroe's bread and butter. If we get anywhere near 16 million for Piroe at the end of the season or the end of next season, then that is a ridiculous piece of business. It's a good bit of business, and I think for all involved as well. I mean, because we've gone from Piroe saying that he loves it at Leeds, he wants to stay at Leeds, and he is happy to continue being at Leeds, etc., so on and so forth. It's just kind of the way it's worked its way forwards. I think it probably needed, as much as we don't like it, the agent coming out and saying something just to push things along. Let's just see what's Paul Jones saying. Getting a bit peeved that these deals are mostly loans with an option and not obligation. More players coming back with less time on their contracts and lower transfer fees. Yeah, I understand that to a point, Paul. But the one of the issues that you're always going to have is, and we used to do it quite a lot, is it's not uncommon for a player to go out on loan. And you've got to look at it from that basis. We'll get on to Bornauw in a second, because it actually makes a lot of sense. So if West Ham are struggling for the money this season, they're probably not going to be next season, because the likelihood is that they are going to get promoted, so they're going to have the spare cash to pay for what they need to pay for when they eventually get promoted. It makes sense all round. Don't forget as well, we do have an option on Piroe, so we can extend his deal by another year if needs be. And if he's tearing it up at West Ham, then that won't be a case. West Ham will probably just buy him anyways. It's just the way that it goes. If the price is problem, I'm sure Piroe's agent waived his fee. We could all come to somewhere. Yeah, agents won't waive a fee. That's just not something that they'll do by any way, shape or form. Lindsay, how are you doing? Oh, Tenerife. Yeah, Elvedi's good. We're going to get into that in a second. I think he'll do well at West Ham. Bowen and Solomon each. Yeah, with Bowen and Solomon at each side, yeah, he'll do incredibly well. He'll do very, very well. He's not a fighter for the ball. He's very much a case of to your feet sort of player. So if that's the case, then that for him will do fantastically well, in my humble opinion. So let's get into Elvedi. Let's have a chat about Elvedi, because Elvedi and Bornauw, the two players there, it's very much intertwined between the two. So we've got Elvedi coming in. Plettenberg has announced that it's the case now. The deal's been agreed. He's coming to Ellen Road. I think he's going to be having his medical early on this week. But I always say the same thing. Until you see him in a Leeds United shirt, he's not a Leeds United player. Anything can happen. However, the personal terms have been agreed. The fee with Mönchengladbach has also been agreed as well. So for me, this is a really, really good signing. And one of the things that you have to look about with Elvedi, yes, he's a right-footed centre-back, but what he can also do is he can play completely across the back line as well. So he's played left centre-back, he's played centre-back, he's played right centre-back as well. So he can give cover for everybody. And I think, in all honesty, for me, and this is just my own personal opinion, if you're looking at it from that way, in terms of levels, he is a level up from where Bornauw is right now. I understand people's reservations with his age, but 30-ish, around that age, is quite peak for a central defender anyways. So I'm not too concerned about his age. But, you know, over 70 caps for Sweden. He's played over 300 times in the Bundesliga as well. He's a very, 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 very good, solid, reliable player. And that's exactly the type of player that we want. We talk about, or I've talked about specifically, what I always want to see is raising the level of the squad moving forwards, and that's what we need to do. We've already seen it with Muramovic. I absolutely love Muramovic. I watched him when we played against RB Leipzig. I was at the ground, and just everything he does, he's just a couple of seconds ahead of everybody. His physicality, everything. It's fantastic to see that being raised up a little bit. Wilson is a level up, although I think he's maybe struggling a little bit just to integrate with the style that we're trying to play. But speaking of style, if you look at what we're actually trying to do, the wingers that we've got, it's quite clear that we're trying to invert the wingers a little bit more to bring them into that more kind of 10 attacking role, to give the wing backs room to move forwards, and obviously Joe Salah as well to burn up the wing at the same time as well, which is kind of what we want to see. So don't expect it to be the same kind of formation and same kind of style we were playing last year. I think it'll be a little bit different. I think there'll be a little bit more technicality to what we're doing next season. Fingers crossed. Problem with loan and option to buy is the club don't have to buy at the end of the loan, and Leeds know all about. Yeah, no, we do. No, 100%. It is. There's always risk and reward whenever it comes to football. The big thing for me is that we'll get a fee for Piroe. Probably, I think it's like a £1 million fee. It'll be probably in and around the same for Bornauw. The fee that's agreed with Bornauw is in and around, I think it's between €4 to €5 million as the option to buy. If we get €4 to €5 million for him, he essentially, we don't lose any money. We probably make a little bit of money on the deal overall when you look at his deal sheet. So it is frustrating because you just want them out the door. But the big thing is that his wages are going to be off the books, which is the main thing. Piroe, his wages are going to be off the books as well once he leaves. So there's in and around about an additional 100 grand in terms of wages that we could potentially pay somebody on top of that as well. And I'm very much glasses half full when it comes to these types of things. So it's that, whilst I understand the scepticism, we are moving players on, which is the main thing. It'd be nice if it was, we'll loan him for a year, and then after that year we'll buy him. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. I keep up the work. Hopefully 3 out of 3 in the door surely before the season starts, please. Yeah, I've got a good feeling that we're gonna. I think now, where would I say we need the most amount of cover moving forwards? I would say that we need cover for DCL. Although Metcher is looking very, very good. He very much Bambi on ice, but I like the way that he can finish with the plum. So you've got we definitely need a cover forward, specialist number 10/winger style of player. Then we need what else do we need? I don't think midfield's too much of an issue now. We need cover for left back, even though I do really, really rate Linau. I think he's or Linau, however you want to pronounce it. What I've seen of him is very, very good. The youth players that have played, Mills, wicked, really like him. Got that ginger fever about him. He's just fantastic to watch, just brilliant to watch. Solomon is playing well for West Ham so far. Yeah, Solomon, he's a cracking little footballer, Solomon. And you have to say, with West Ham having Solomon on the left-hand side, Bowen on the right-hand side, that's a really, really good recipe. A really, really, really good recipe for them. So if you think about it, you've got Piroe, and then you've got literally just about to mention Tati Castellanos scoring goals in the Carabao Cup as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with those. I'm recalling Paul. Sunday morning here. A few more moves happening. Yes. Thanks for that, Paul. It's it's a difficult one because like I said, I don't normally go live, but I figured I would give it a bit of a go and just try and see what kind of happens. But it's something that I'm thinking about doing live streams, not all the time, but doing them sort of every now and then trying to announce them properly. City need a new keeper. They're 3 down. Listen, I've watched with interest what they've been saying, a lot of their fans, with Trafford, especially in the last game. You know where Trafford trapped the ball down, came out, moved to the left-hand side and played a wicked ball into Aronson, who then back-heeled it. They're all saying that they made a huge mistake selling Trafford, so that's going to be quite funny. I'm the same, John. I've got no ill will towards Piroe whatsoever at all. He was phenomenal in the season that we went up and the season before as well, to be fair. CB, he's not gone yet, but there is massive interest in him in terms of teams that are now looking at him. Because of what was said yesterday, I think what you're finding now is that the teams now will come to the fore with it. So it'll happen. It's more than likely going to happen. And it's fair play. You wanted to stay, but the one player that is really, really interesting me moving forwards so far this summer, and I do think that he has a part to play this season, because there's been no interest in him whatsoever at all. I've got a feeling that Nonto's going to stay. I thought Nonto was going to be one of the ones that was going to go. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but I've got a feeling that Gnonto is going to stay, and that he is. I think he's got a part to play this season, so I've got a good feeling about Gnonto. I really like the maturity that Gnonto has shown recently as well. He's very, very much grown up a lot. He seems to have really, really grown over the last sort of season and a bit, and got his head down. He's given some decent interviews about being Leeds and Leeds United and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm all for it. I'd love Gnonto to stay. I'd really like him to stay. From what I've seen of him in pre-season, I think he's been very, very good as well. I've got no issues with how he's played or what he's done. So I think he's been fantastic. Let me just see what else we've got. I would sign Mateus Fernandez, Hadro, his teammate, Hakan Haraldsson from Lille. Money. It's the money that talks at the end of the day for that one, Jared, I think. Yeah. Trafford is he's solid. We've got a keeper that can come and command. And although he did do a Melier-esque thing against Augsburg, but his ceiling is incredibly high. And I know a lot of people were worried about the 40 million that we were spending on him. But what I would say with that is, if he does leave, I think he'll leave Leeds in 3 or 4 years' time if he was to leave. And this is if we're not getting anywhere as a team, so to speak, and he wants to really push his ambitions and everything, I think he could almost leave for double the price from what I've seen so far. He's just a very calming influence. He talks very, very well. You can see that the guys trust him as well. So it's going to be good. I think he's my signing of the summer. Make no mistake about it. And it was really interesting watching the Newcastle fans cry about that as well. That was quite hilarious. Gnonto has proved his worth to us in pre-season. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like I said, from what I've seen of him in pre-season, Gnonto, I think he's been very, very good. Buzzing around in that kind of that free sort of number 10 kind of role. I think he's played quite well. Gnonto is a must. Yeah, I'd love him to stay as well. He was really good at right wing back when he came on against Scum. Yes, he was. He was very, very good. And I really like, there's a really, really good understanding as well that certain players have got with each other already. Bogle and Gnonto have a really good understanding together. Again, in the match against Augsburg, you could see the link-up play between DCL and Aronson. Aronson's got an important role to play this season for me. I don't think he's going to be a starter on a regular basis. What I do think he'll be is a player that comes on 65, 70 minutes to really just harass everybody when they come on. Very early days, but Trafford looks like he has been with us for yet. Yeah, he does. He fits right in. Like I said, he talks really, really well. He's got a lot to say. He says the right things at the right time as well, which is absolutely fantastic to see. He's just a big lump of a footballer, and he's great. He's good with his feet as well. It's just hilarious watching some accounts on X complain about selling him and what have we done? Can we get him back? And it's like, no, you can't. He's our player now, and that's just the way that it's going to work. Oh, that tastes really nice. So, quick chat. I don't know what this means, by the way. So the Bornauw situation. Roll on now, a backup challenge for right wing back as Elvedi will definitely start as his Farke's favourite. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think Elvedi knows that he's coming in as competition, but what it does do is that it makes the point to the three that are in centre-back when you've got somebody that can play right the way across the line is it's proper competition. You'll have three players that are going to be looking over their shoulder and saying to themselves, if I don't perform for a couple of weeks, then I'm going to be out of the team. Or if they're not on it all the time on training, then they're going to be out of the team and Elvedi can come in. And the same if Elvedi's in. Elvedi will have to keep his performances tip-top if he gets into the squad. If not, then it'll come in and it's healthy. That's a really, really healthy position to be in for us because hopefully, again, and we talk about this, raising the ceiling and raising the level of the team, this is what you want. And for me, as much as I've got no issues with Bornauw at all, I think that he's done well in pre-season. I think that he hasn't let anybody down. I think that he's done good in terms of the way that he plays and what he's done. But for me, Elvedi is the next step up, if you like, and that's what we're always looking to do is improve and make the squad a little bit better. So, what else have we got? And scum game. And he ran to the halfway line to chat with the players. That's what you want in a keep. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what you want. You want that all of the time. Yeah, and this is what you want from Trafford. He'll organise the defence. I'm telling you now, he's going to be England's number one within a year, in my humble opinion. No, Bornauw's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing spectacular. He has been extremely solid. But the one thing that I would say about Bornauw is that I think he didn't kick up a stink. I think he made it known that he wanted more minutes. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with putting your cards on the table. He made it known that he wanted more minutes, sort of like halfway through last season. And he had to take his chances when players got injured, like a Rodon got injured or a Piroe got injured or Strout got injured, then he could come in. And I think the thing about this whole situation with Bornauw is that I genuinely think there has been probably quite open and frank conversation between Bornauw and Farke in terms of what the plans are, and then moving it forwards and trying to get a resolution to the situation. Farke made it clear that he doesn't want Bornauw to leave, but at the same time, you have to understand that Bornauw wants to play football, and if he's not prepared to sit and work his way through in that way, and he wants to go out and get more game time because he's also got one mind on playing in the Belgium squad as well, then you kind of understand it. And the last thing that you want to happen is to have a really, really unhappy player in the squad, because one of the things that we spent a lot of time building on is the harmony and the cohesion with all of the players. You can see how much they all get on, and one bad annoyance within that could potentially ruin absolutely everything. So for me, whilst it's a loan and it's not the best idea loan-wise, because we just want to sell the player, I kind of get it. I kind of understand it, if that makes sense. Agent Smith, we've got an option to extend Piroe's deal for a further year at the end of next season, so he won't leave for a free. If he doesn't have any suitors, his deal will get extended for another year, so we'll still get money out of him in that one, in my humble opinion. Pick for his last tournament for England, probably be Euros, and then, yeah, I agree. Great team spirit in our squad, and that is the key to any successful team. Think of our best team. Yeah, 100% agree for that. Piroe for Tati sounds interesting. I would 100% take that deal without even having to worry about it or question it. Who's got a better pedigree? Yeah, I agree with that, Neil. Is what it is. I hope he has a bright future. But for Piroe or for Bornauw, I mean, I've got no ill. This is one of the things and again, this speaks to the cohesion within the squad and how well all of the teams seem to be getting on. And it's the fact that you've got players who aren't probably getting the game time that they want. I'll use Nonto as a prime example of this. And rather than kick up a fuss, they're just getting their heads down and getting on with it, and then having the quiet word in private to try and sort that kind of situation out, which for me is absolutely fine. And that, again, it speaks to the culture that has been fostered at the club, particularly by, and you have to, and I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but you have to give Farke credit for this one in terms of what he's building, in terms of that squad and that cohesion, that no dickhead role. He's building that with everybody at the moment, which is really, really pleasing to see. And also as well, the players that are in there, the players that get it, the new leadership team that's in there. So you've got Ampadu as captain, Justin, Rodon, and Biol all as vice captain. So it's that kind of leadership team for me is really, really important. But one of the things that I really like to do is I like to, and this is me being weird, I like to stalk social medias a little bit just to see how the players all kind of get along. And one of the cool things to see in the summer, there was a picture of them all out at a restaurant, and there was a couple of the newer players that were in there as well, and they were already integrated, arms around everybody having a good time and everybody being happy and nice. And it was, and DCL, thank you, and all being happy and nice. It just, there's that really, you can have the most skillful players in the world, and if the team cohesion, I'm going to go very, very FIFA here, sorry, or EA, whatever you want to call it. If the chemistry in the team is crap, it doesn't matter how good the talented players will get you so far. The mood within camp and the way that these players feel, that fighting for each other, busting a gut to go for every ball, trying to put in 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances every week, that will get you further, if that makes sense. There's I don't know if anybody watches Matt Armstrong on YouTube, and his big slogan is hard work beats talent. And that's really, really true, is that hard work, cohesion, and everybody working together will often beat off just pure talent. Put the two together, having the pure talent and the hard work, and you've got an absolutely golden recipe for a team that should progress and progress and progress and progress. And that's exactly what you want. Yes, I believe we are going in for another striker, CB, pretty much. Both really good look. Yeah, same. Yeah, keepers will always improve with a really, really good defence. Yeah, no, 100%. I've got a feeling, and again, I'll stand my hands up on that. It'll just be, I've got a feeling that we've got a good chance of seeing a lot more of Gnonto this season, just because of how he's conducting himself. And there is a lot to be said about how you carry yourself as a footballer as well, particularly when, not if you don't feel that things aren't going your way, but if the noise in the crowd is that he should be playing more, but he's not, but you just carry on and get on with your job, it'll come. It's all about working hard, and I agree with that. Perry, Bornauw, Piroe, wages off the books. Are we bringing in another marquee signing on big wages? I think there is a strong possibility that there is a surprise. I don't know, but I've got a feeling that there's a possibility that there's maybe a big signing that's coming in. I've got no updates yet on keepers or anything like that. If you go on that famous site that you're not allowed to talk about, we are looking at another keeper, and it will just be a second choice keeper. We can't go into the season with Cairns as second choice keeper. I love the guy and I love his attitude, but no, we can't. Cairns can't be second choice to keeper when we start. That's literally Real Madrid team don't gel. Yeah, 100%. Real Madrid are an absolute example of that. Perfect example is Mbappe and Junior at Real. Yeah, no, agree, 100%. You can just and that's the big difference between the Real Madrid side and the Barcelona side. That when Barcelona were really dominant, even when Real Madrid had absolutely phenomenal players, that team spirit and cohesion with Barcelona they had that. Excuse me, they had that period where they were just unbelievable because everybody was singing off the same hymn sheet, and that's the thing. It wasn't about individuality, it was about the team and everything moving forward. So yeah, I'd agree with the Leicester and Greece analogy there as well. I've seen Jack Grealish. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Jack Grealish has been mentioned apparently. Again, it's a rumour, but apparently there's a possibility that we could look at Jack Grealish. I know he's 30, but for me, he's got Premier League experience. He comes from City, did okay at Everton last season, apart from sort of the little injuries wise with it as well. The only stumbling block I could see with that is potentially his wages might be a bit of a stumbling block depending on how much money he's on. It's like the whole Rafael Leao thing. That's not going to happen, by the way, in my opinion. 50 million quid for a player that's played poorly for 2 seasons and is on a absolute crap ton of money at AC Milan. That's just not going to happen. It's nice, and yes, he's been offered and all of that kind of stuff, but it's too rich for us where we are at this moment in time. So I found interaction. Our defence looks very good. Strong midfield, need creativity and some pace, ideally at 9. I think I think that where I think we're going to get another marquee signing is in the attacking midfield area. I think that's where the marquee signing is going to come from. I can't tell you 100% who that might be, but I do think that is, in my humble opinion, that is something that's going to happen. Rutter to return. Lindsay, no, unfortunately, as lovely as that would be, and he did score a cracking goal in pre-season for them as well, by the way, I don't think Rutter's coming back anytime soon. It would be very much fairy tale scenario for that to happen, but I can't, excuse me, I can't see that happening anytime soon. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a dry throat. Fleming would be a good fit, the bill as DCL. Yeah, 100%. I like Zion Fleming. I think he's a very, very good player. I think he's very good as kind of like that, almost like a false nine position, if that makes sense, or just as an in behind the nine. But again, like I said, Mecha has played well in pre-season. Him and DCL are two very, very different type of players in terms of the way that they play. But Mecha, although he does look like Bambi on ice when he's got the ball, he can pull some really skillful manoeuvres out of his backside. His finish, by the way, was unbelievable. Just really, really nice. That turn as well by Tanaka. And that's why in my review, I put that down as the move of the game, because the ball into Tanaka's feet and that touch out of his feet to create the space, and then the slide rule pass into Mecha, and then Mecha just composing himself enough to lift the ball over the keeper was absolutely stunning. Really, really stunning. But all of the goals yesterday by all of the players were absolutely brilliant. I thought DCL had a very, very good game in terms of providing goals. Just his touch, his movement, the ball round the corner, all of that. It was really, really, really good. What else have we got here? Jack is on about 300k a week. Yeah, no, 100%. Unless Man City are going to pay half or 75% of his wages, I can't see it happening. I still want Ueda. Yeah, no, I like Ueda. Very, very good player. Very, very good player. I don't think you want too much for him either. Loads and loads and loads. Piroe for Tati would be, yeah, 100%. I really like Tati. I think he's a great player, and he's got a little bit of devilment about him as well, which is nice. I want aggressive forwards. Mecha deserves more credit as he does take his shot. Yeah, that's the daft thing with Mecha. He's very clinical, and he wasn't given enough credit for that last season. There'd be times where he'd get the ball outside of the box, and you'd be like, I don't understand what he's trying to do or why he's doing it that way. But he had a really, really good conversion rate overall. I like Mecha. Yeah, that's the big difference between Mecha and DCL. Mecha's very much a target man and can bring players on. Sorry, DCL's very much a target man and can bring players in, as was demonstrated yesterday. It was just the way he brought the ball down after the long ball for Trafford. He then, got his head up and played the ball into Wilson. Wilson then plays it across to Aronson. Aronson gets the ball out of his feet straight away. This is the thing about Aronson. When he doesn't have time to think about it and just does it instinctively, he's very, very good. And then Stacks, control and finish. Beautiful. Really, really nice team goal. The one with Justin was just as good as well when you think about it. Justin played it into his feet, and he plays this lovely round the corner pass, which Justin, by the way, controls perfectly because DCL slightly overhit the pass. But he plays it really, really well and moves it forwards and finishes fantastically well. And then obviously the fourth goal, just all of the lead up to that was absolutely brilliant. So let me see. Talk of a 10. Wilson on the right, correct. Talk of 10 seems to have cooled off. An inverted winger that mirrors Wilson on the right can play 90 minutes, probably works better. There is that. There is Okafor can do that. The biggest question around Okafor, and I love Okafor, and I said it on the podcast with Jer on the Leeds View, if Okafor hadn't have been injured for that month, I think we would have been safer a lot sooner, just because he was a game changer for us. But I think we do need, and I'll say it, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'll say it, a Pajau style player who can come in, excuse me, on that invert in. And that's, excuse me, I mentioned it before. If you watch the guys now, particularly in the last game in particular, with Rodon running up and thing in the pitch, both Wilson and Aronson on the left-hand side were inverting a lot more to create the space for the wing-backs. So you've got the two kind of left forwards that were coming in like this, which then gave the wing-backs room to then come up, which is something I think we are looking at doing. And this is what I say when I think that there's going to be a slight change in the way that we play this season. There isn't going to be that much lumping it long. Not that we were a long ball team, but kind of lumping it long, looking for an out ball, and then the forwards looking to feed off of the scraps of what DCL manages to bring down. I think you're going to see us play a lot more tactically, or tactically as an option. But like I said, we need that. We definitely need that cover for Okafor, and somebody that can come in and help on that side of things. Any talk of a slop deal with West Ham? No, not at the moment, Paul. Hope Metcha doesn't try Tarek over a kick, as he'll probably get injured. Yeah, that overhead kick by Tarek, it was so Ibrahimovic. It was unbelievable. That flick and just that natural. Oh, it was sexy, wasn't it? You can't really say anything else about it. It was sexy to watch. It was really, really nice to see that ball go in the way that it did. Excuse me. I see that Arsenal are still 2-0 up against Man City. I think Maresca's going to get found out very, very quickly this season. Let's have a look. West Ham are beating, if anybody's interested, West Ham are currently beating Burnley 1-0. Who is the scorer in that game? It's not telling us just yet. When did they score? It's not said. Right. Suzuki just gone to Villa for 30 million. Glad we got Trafford before then. Suzuki, Suzuki going to Villa. That was always going to happen. I think because the deal was with PSG and then it fell through, or it was never ever going to happen. And I think Villa were always waiting in the wings to go at him for a keeper. My preferred choice for the keeper position had always been Trafford, but I really like the idea of Suzuki potentially coming to us. But obviously, that was never going to happen. And I think if you watch the Men in Blazers podcast, particularly the one with Piroe, we've been after Trafford for a very, very long time. And the interesting thing, Jer brought this up yesterday, actually, the whole thing with Elvedi. I don't think people realise is that we've been after Elvedi since 2024. Oh, is it Bowen for West Ham? Bowen's. You've got to give Bowen credit as well. He stayed. He could have left, but he stayed. It's not like Somerville that has just disappeared off for the money. 3-0 for Arsenal. That's hilarious. Martin Odegaard. Interessant. Yeah, Man City. There could be trouble ahead for Man City. I genuinely think Maresca's going to get found out this season. I don't think he's the coach that everybody thinks he is. That's just my humble opinion on that situation. Timu Pep. Yeah, he might be bald, but he's not got the bald side that Pep has. Just unbelievably good. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Man City do this season moving forward. So we'll just have to, like I said, wait and see on those ones and worry about ourselves really, and just go after what we can go after. I don't think we're going to be struggling as much. I mean, I'm genuinely excited for the way that this season's going to go, having seen what I've seen in pre-season. And I always say the same thing. When I look at pre-season, I want pre-season to be a sort of, I want to see progression, excuse me, throughout all the games in pre-season. And yet Wrexham was Wrexham, but every game where we've played, we've gotten better and better and better and better and better, in my humble opinion. When you look at the game against Augsburg, they're no mug. They're no mugs. They finished 9th in the Bundesliga, and it was a very, very good performance, solid. And Farke wasn't happy. He wasn't happy at the end of the performance at all. Let's see. Just watch Man City. They must be kicking themselves, letting Trafford go. Looks like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't be. There's a lot of people complaining about the genuinely online. There's a lot of people complaining about the Trafford deal. Yeah, this is very much that Moyes moment for Man City. I would suggest, where Ferguson left and said we've all got to get behind Moyes, and Moyes just couldn't hack it. Please to buy him in January. Yeah, I'd take Haaland in a heartbeat. Man City losing Rodri is a big blow. I don't know. Barcelona are really keen on Rodri, but I think that's why they bought Elliot Anderson. But Elliot Anderson's not at the level of Rodri. I'd slightly disagree with that, Chris, in terms of getting the players that he wants. I think what you'll find, he has been backed. He wanted Muramovic, he wanted Elvedi, and he wanted Trafford as well. Those three players in particular are three key players that he wants. So let's fully judge it at the end of the transfer window. But I know not your negative, but you have your opinion, Chris, which is valid. That's absolutely fine. So it's just a case of let's just see what happens. The next couple of weeks are going to be interesting, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Hi, Nigel. Don't worry about being late. It's absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. You've stopped in and come and said hello, which is, it's all I can ask for, guys. Listen, I talk about this a lot. When I first started this channel, I was just a Leeds United fan that wanted to talk about the team that I loved. I got lucky and had certain people within the space who helped me out. Just Joe who put me on. I've got Jer who put me on as well, and it grew from there. The Ought to Know Better boys who helped me move forwards, and it's grown from there. And I'm very, very fortunate to be in the position that I am in, and I'm very, this is a passion thing for me. It's what I enjoy doing. And I mentioned it. I've gone through a bit of a really, really shit period over the past sort of 10 weeks. I started a new job. It didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. And it's been really, really hard over the past 10 weeks trying to look for a new job. Started a new job last week, which is going really, really well. And sort of getting myself back around to where I need to be again. And this channel and these channel and you guys that watch make a huge difference in my life. So I really, 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 really genuinely, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your asses or anything like that, I genuinely appreciate all of you. It means a lot to me, genuinely. I'm not going to sit here and start crying about stuff, but I genuinely appreciate you all. I believe Fark is setting high standards for himself as he wants to show that him at Norwich yeah, no, he is. I think he's got the monkey off his back with surviving in the Premier League. The next thing is where he goes to in terms of the next level. Be interesting game, the opener against Forest. They're looking sharp. Yeah, Forest look good. They do look good, but we haven't looked bad either, so we'll just have to wait and see. Hi, mate. I see we get defenders in easily, but struggle with the attackers. It depends on how you look at it, because Muramovic, nobody thought. Muramovic was kind of Muramovic was very much a case of, this is somebody we could be looking at, to 48 hours later, we're buying him. And that's generally what appears to be the case. So if we are looking at a player, and it also depends on the country that the player is currently playing in as well, depending on the type of news that's getting out there. One thing that has been clear this window is the amount of information that's been given to local journalists. There's not been as much leaked out to local journalists. And I'll use Shay Charles as the prime example for that. Saints Extra, who were like the local information people for Southampton, were just pumping out constant shit about Shay Charles, whereas our local journalists weren't saying very much with that. The Shay Charles thing, and also as well the Julian Brandt thing, before we even left to go on the tour. Excuse me, I've got a really dry throat. Before we left to go on the tour of the USA, we'd moved on from Brandt, but nobody else had known that we'd moved on from Brandt with that one. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Where do you think we'll finish this season? 9th for me. I think we could, if we go to the potential that we've potentially got top 10. Although I would still take 17th in a heartbeat because it means that we've survived in the Premier League. But if we go at the progression rate that we are, anywhere between 14th and 10 is good for me. Like this from you, as you're very knowledgeable on your football knowledge. More interaction with your viewers is always good. Yeah, I am going to try to do more live streams. So it might be a couple of times a week, might be once a week, but I am going to try and do more live streams. It might be like a roundup or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm 100% down for giving it a go. I have to go now as I'm going to do a talk in church very soon. Not a problem at all, Andrew. Enjoy yourself in church. I hope the talk goes really, really well for you, mate. Thank you for stopping in and coming and having a chat. Top 8 if we get a Newt forward, top 6. Top 6. I love the optimism on that one. We left the last minute for the best of deals. Yeah, probably. We spent 80 million on Trafford, Tarek and Elvedi, and only Wilson in attack for free. It's tough trying to get a quality striker in when they know they won't be first choice for DCL. Yeah, and again, what that comes down to is selling the project. So that's about looking at what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we go about selling the project. We managed to sell the project to Muramovic because, I mean, from what I've seen of Muramovic already, he's a phenomenal defender, unbelievably good. So being able to do that and being able to get to where we've got to with the players that we've brought in already, we've been able to sell a project to them. And that's what we need to keep going on, is selling that project. We've got a new stadium that we can sell. You know, you look at the team, you look at the players that we brought in. Make no mistake as well, having a Trafford in, having a Muramovic in, having a Wilson in, you know, those types of players, it makes it easier to bring in higher level of player, which is what we're trying to do. Excuse me. Wow, dry throat. Oh, also as well, before I forget, Holy, thank you for people that have already bought or supported me on that. I really do appreciate it. I was absolutely gassed when they came on board and asked me if I wanted to do something with them. Massively, massively, massively appreciate it. Let me just see if I can pull it in. So bear with me. Hang on. Woo! There it is. If you are interested in Holy, I'm not going to do a big sponsored thing, but if you are interested in what they do, it's all natural flavours, vegan, really, really decent. I wouldn't go with anything that I don't think is decent. I'm a big health freak at this moment in time. I've lost a lot of weight, as people tend to point out, and I want to keep it that way. So if you do want to support the channel, there's a QR code there, and also on the screen as well, there is Leeds 5 for 5% off, and also Leeds for 10% off as well, for new customers, and it's the £5 off for £5 off for the new customer, 10% off for existing customers on there as well. So thank you for everybody that has supported it so far. I genuinely really do appreciate you all for doing that. That's the end of that. I'm not talking about it anymore. So yeah, sorry, I got distracted there. My phone started vibrating. So yeah, I think from a season point of view, I think we should be looking at top. We should be looking up. We shouldn't be looking down. I think the teams that have come up, also the Coventry are spending well in terms of what they're spending so far. Do I think it'll be enough? I'm not 100% certain it will be. I think Ipswich might struggle a little bit. Hull potentially could really, really struggle. They've bought in, 11 new players? So I think that's going to be potentially a difficult time for them. But who knows? You know, there's us and Sunderland that booked the trend last season. Could it be same again this season, which I doubt it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Tarek is good behind the camera for Antonelli. Elvedi is a permanent deal, not a loan. Correct. How long before Man City fans turn? Who knows? Who is to say Elvedi won't do what Bornauw has done this season if he doesn't get much game time? My one criticism of Farke at times is that he doesn't like to utilise his squad enough, trust his bench. I think what you'll find this season, there'll be more rotation this season, Michael. I do understand what you mean. Farke does like a small squad, but I think we'll probably see a bit more rotation this season. And he did describe Elvedi as one of the best centre-backs in Europe as well, that's high praise. So it's something that we'll have to wait on and see as the season kind of wears on. I think I'm excited about the season. I feel really, really good about the season. So I might change my mind after the first 3 games. You never know, but we'll just have to. I mean, at the moment, the optimism is high. We've brought in some really good players so far, so that we have to be pleased about. So looking at what we brought in: Trafford, Muramovic, Elvedi, Wilson. The ones that we brought in so far, they're all upgrades for me, massive upgrades. So that's huge. So it'll be a case of waiting and seeing what else we get in over the next couple of weeks. Say similar around 11th, 14th finish. Yeah, Elvedi is a very good addition and replacement for Seb. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think what you'll find is Elvedi will start a few. I mean, Rodon is like the Terminator, but there will be times when he does need to have a rest. Yeah, massively glad we got Trafford done. Will Piroe sign or a marquee forward? If you listen to reports in France, they're saying that that Piroe's going nowhere. There is talk with his representatives, as far as I know, according to ITK people. But in terms of it moving forwards, I don't think it's even started to move forward. What I would say with that is keep your eye on it more than anything. Do you think the tide is turning for the historically bigger clubs? Leeds, Forest and Sunderland getting above Brighton and Brentford and Bournemouth. I think the problem that you're always going to have is that the larger clubs have had such a head start on any other club that's coming up or any club that's wanting to come up a level as to where everybody is, that it makes it difficult to kind of bridge that gap. That's the bit that's really difficult, is bridging the gap. And the only way that you can bridge the gap is by making your stadium bigger, and generating bigger revenue, looking at revenue off the other side of things, is looking at non-match day going revenue to try and increase the coin at the same time as well, which is what a lot of other clubs do. I mean, you look at Spurs pull in per home game 5 to 6 million per home game. I think we're nowhere near that. But with the stadium improvements that are going on, keep your eyes out as well. Next Sunday, there'll be a new stadium video that'll be coming out. You have to go with the times. And as much as people go on, but historically, I like the traditional thing of the club. We have to move forwards. If we don't look at other revenue streams, we're never going to be able to bridge the gap. Excuse me. You've got Manchester, who are the red side, that is. You've got Manchester, who are, billions of pounds in debt, but can still go out and fork out loads of money on players because of their commercial revenue. Their commercial revenue is huge. City's commercial revenue is huge. Chelsea's commercial revenue is huge. And that's the stage that we need to get at. Unfortunately, it's, like I said, it's a difficult bridge to gap, particularly for new clubs coming up. It'll take a little while, but I do think that we will get there over time. Let's see. Do you think the tide is turning for the... we also got a lot of dead wood from Leeds. Do you mean we've got a lot of dead wood we need to get rid of? We've done all right, actually, this time around, in my opinion, of getting rid of players this summer. Maybe not Brighton, but defo the other two. Strength in depth is to give players a rest. 100% agree with that. And that's why when you bring cover players in, you need to make sure that you've got players that can step in and do the job at the same time as well. Otherwise, it's absolutely pointless. Thanks for that, Danny. Yeah, if you haven't done so, hit the like button. If you're in here and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, please. That would be greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 10,000. We're getting ever closer, which is somewhere where I never ever thought we would get. But no, I appreciate the support from everybody. You're all legends. Championship to bring in potential talent to save any big outlay. It's a difficult one. It's risk and reward, isn't it? It's like Shea Charles has a high ceiling. Obviously, he's gone to Fulham. But there was a limit that we were prepared to go to, and we wouldn't go any further than that. And for me, that is I'm absolutely fine with that. If we set a limit on the amount of money that we want to spend and don't go any higher than that, I've got no problems with that because we've been getting bullied. It is a slow progress, but it's possible. Bournemouth might finish bottom half now. Areola. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, how Areola does at Liverpool, but also as well how Bournemouth do overall. That'll be an interesting one to watch. Get rid of... Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, we get rid of. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Cheers, John. Appreciate you, mate. Hopefully we'll sign a more creative player to replace Brendan as much as relevant. Yeah, I like Brendan. He had a standout season last season. He has his moments. I think his role is going to change next season, though, Michael. I think he'll be playing more impact sub and starting in some games as well, but I think it'll be more impact sub for him. 6 other clubs have tried, Leicester, Aston Villa and Newcastle, and those clubs are suffering financially. Yeah, this is one of the things that you have to be very, very mindful of if you're trying to bridge that gap, and this is why you have to do it slowly and have to do it in increments. If you run before you can walk, financially, and we know how this feels, can absolutely destroy you. Valencia are annoying me with Ramazani, though. Yeah, Valencia... I will do more streams like this, I promise. Let me just see. Mark Sweeney. The Spider. More signings. Paul, what on earth happened to your right hand? I'll explain. It's a mental health thing. I had an argument with the door. The door lost. We'll leave it there. Sorry, Lindsay. I apologise about that. I monetize it and I apologise. I think Tanaka can be a good number 10. He's got the protect. The problem with Tanaka is he has a tendency to really lose confidence, and it takes him a little while to get it back. And once he gets it back, then he'll have like a spell of a really good couple of games. And then if he makes a mistake, it's difficult for him. Really difficult for him to get it back. We saw with the World Cup, that affected him for a couple of games as well. Valencia and Torino always skint when buying. I hope we... Yeah, the Torino thing, well, it looks like now, doesn't it, that Perry's going to Torino. We all got very excited because Marseille did look at Perry. And there was a chance we all went, we could do a swap deal. Pajau for Perry. But... it looks like he's going to Torino now, doesn't it? So I think, again, it's something like a £1 to £2 million loan fee and then £14 million, I think it is. So, again, that'll be something that wipes its face. Valencia and Torino, always skinted over. I read that one, I don't. The teams that got Europe and don't have depth like Sunderland will struggle. Fulham look like they might struggle. Hard to know, but I can see us even in the bottom 5. I'm going to be interested to see how Sunderland progress because they've not done a lot of business this window, particularly for them having to go into Europe. It's tough. It's really, really tough. Listen, Lloyd, Schultz, give me Schultz now. I would 100%. He looks about 78. He's only 25, but give me Schultz now. He is a phenomenally good player. Pay AZ Alkmaar 50 million up front and get knocked back, then they only want to take Piroe on loan. They obviously have the money. Leeds should demand payment up front, not a loan. Understand what you're saying, Michael, but the problem with that is if we're looking to get the wages off of the books, in particular, sometimes you have to bend just a little bit. And obviously there's that obligation to buy, and then it's hopefully he does the business, or if he absolutely smashes it and does the business that way around, and then somebody else comes in for him. I just hope you're all good, Paul. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Don't worry about it. I'm absolutely fine. I talk about this quite openly. I suffer, and I'll talk about it now. It's fine. I suffer with ever since my mum passed away nearly 10 years ago. I suffer quite badly with depression and also anxiety as well. And I am not heavily medicated, but I'm medicated for it. And with the stress of the past 10 weeks that have been coming on, everything just got on top of me a little bit. And that just happened, and that never generally happens. I'm booked in to go and have a chat with a counsellor as well, so I'm making strides with it. So I'm all good in that way. The biggest problem that you'll always with depression, or the biggest problem with that mental health side of stuff, or the worst problem is it's trying to talk about it. A lot of people, men in particular, because there's such a stigma against it, they won't talk about it. You've just got to talk about it. Doesn't matter who you talk to. Could be anybody. Could be your cat. Could be your dog. Whatever. You've got to talk, and you've got to get it off your chest. That's a really, really important thing. That's why these organisations like Andy's Man's Club are so important. Okay, let's catch up. Schultz, unbelievably good. Sunderland are definitely suffering with 2 games a week. Yeah, they will be. Sunderland not investing into a squad for Europe is worrying. They will be stretched this year. I think they will be, but it'll be interesting to see. John, I agree. Schultz would be amazing. No club has tried to poach our better players like Stack, Amps, Bogle and Goodmanson that we know of. I'll say that we know of. There's nothing to say that it is that somebody hasn't come in and it's just been kept under wraps, which is great. Let's just see. Is there an obligation with Piroe? No, it's not an obligation, it's an option. So that's slightly different. So it's not buying him at the end, so it's an obligation. So if he's absolutely flying and West Ham decide not to take him, then somebody else might come in and get him. Charging, we are here for your therapy is the key. Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you for that. Nice words. Apparently Schultz was known for doing extra training. Maybe he wants a better club. Who knows? Premier League is hard to predict in terms of teams that might struggle. Most said Brentford last season, then losing Thomas Frank, Tony and Orgard. And we all, none of us thought that Keith Andrews would do all right, but he did. Hearing rumours of Castellanos, I think Tatty would be amazing. Tatty would be really, really good, but I think at the moment it is just rumours. Problem shared is a problem half. Keep talking about it, Paul. Appreciate you. Thank you. XO6, still miss her terribly. Dad died. All right. Yeah, I feel you. Losing a parent is one of the strangest, hardest things that you will ever have to deal with as an adult or as a child, depending on when it happens. It's a horrific situation to be in, because somebody that you've relied on for your entire life is no longer there, and it's very difficult because you have to then work out how to do that in the world. Oh, what's this? Thank you for sharing. I'm also going through depression. Likewise, lost my dad 5 years ago, and it can be overwhelming with work and life. Mate, I feel you. Thank you so much for that. You didn't have to. Nobody ever has to donate, but I genuinely really do appreciate it. But yeah, listen, I genuinely mean it. I go through it myself, and it's tough and it gets hard at times. I'm a very insular person at the best of times. It makes it... what's the best way of describing myself? I don't have loads of friends. That's the best way of saying it. I've always liked my own company. And one of my reasons for that is that you judge people by your own standards, you generally tend to get pissed off most of your life, so it's just easier not to. So I keep my circle very, very small for that particular reason. So other than that, yeah, just keep talking. Get yourself anybody. It doesn't matter. Could be the cashier in a shop. It could be the old person that you see in the coffee shop. Sit down with them, have a chat. You never know what good might come from it. We should have more attacking options this season for Farker to use and utilise. So start with Forest away and then Brentford. 4 points of 6. Good show this today, Paul. Flows well. So thank you. No, I appreciate you. Thank you. I think Justin has been an amazing signing. He does seem to get better. He's been a bit off it, but I think that's just players just holding a little bit in reserve, getting ready for the start of the season. Yeah, Castellano, he's a great player. Absolutely great player. Brentford are on fire. Yeah, they are. They put 7 past somebody, didn't they? Maybe that's something you could do on here. Or do you mean chat and stuff? Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to have those types of conversations if people want to drop in and have a chat. 100%. Swiss player cost 6.5. It's an obligation, Paul. Oh, is it definitely an obligation? Cool, thank you. The outlay that Leeds have spent, does that put Farker under extra pressure? As a manager, you're always going to be under extra pressure, Michael. It's just the way that it goes. That's just life. Will the 49ers accept similar to that season, the fan base? I think they'll be expecting a little bit more. I know I've got 8,000 here. Thank you. 6.5 million for Elvedi. That's great. But yeah, no, it's unreal. My mum passed 8 years ago and I miss her every day. Yeah, I know, John. I know. Trust me, mate. I know how it feels. It's shit. Absolutely shit. The one thing that I'll say about that as well, it's something that was said to me, and I think it's very, very true. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget, because it means that the person ends up dying twice, and that's even worse. So don't ever forget. Always keep them up here and in here. Always. Hey, if talking to the guy in the mirror helps, mate, you do that. Appreciate you, Lindsay. Thank you so much for that. That's really kind words. Yeah, Jeremy, listen, I'm 4 years away from my 50s, so yeah, I understand. I understand how that feels, mate. I think, Michael, I think Nonto will stay this season because there's been nothing forthcoming, and I think he's got an important role to play as well. Correct, it is Leeds Therapy. Linu, I think, might make a breakthrough. Cresswell's looked really, really good. It's Mills, isn't it? The gingerhead kid who's looked particularly good and is very, 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 very skillful. Cheers, Michael. I think Fart got lucky with Muramovic. So good. We have no excuses. Not 100%. We haven't got any excuses. Yeah, Cresswell looked big as well. Looked big. Oh, I'm sorry, John. That's shit. That's really, really shit. No, Cairns won't be number 2. Cairns is number 3. There'll be a number 2 brought in before the end of the season. It won't be a lot of money outlay as well. I wouldn't have thought it'll just be a normal amount. It won't be a huge amount. Lanu is a very, very good player. 100% agree with that. I reckon that we have another 50 million plus to spend yet with getting 3 squad players out. I'd agree with that. Yeah, we never forget. I wonder, could Nonto move into 10? He could. He has got all the skill. He's got all the pace as well. He's also very, very good at right wing back as well. He looked very, very good in the game against Leipzig when I was there when he came on. Looked very, very, very busy. Yeah, I agree. I think he might morph into a number 10, Ricky. I think he might do. One thing I'll say to that, Agent Smith, is you've said it out loud and your mum will know. Your mum will know, mate. So don't try not to let it haunt you and try not to let it worry you. And if you want any advice from me, something that I do from time to time, like I said, it's nearly 10 years since my mum passed, and I generally tend to go to my mum's grave and I'll sit down, I'll just have a natter. Just have a natter and just have a chat. Strawberry, not ginger. Hey, listen, I was strawberry blonde when I was little, and I had curly hair as well. And if you look at me now, I'm mousy blonde, slightly thinning, and I've got grey hair. So, one of the grandchildren, none of my dad or kids. The dog, lovelies, cars, and that's it. Nothing wrong with that, Jeremy, at all. I've got a picture of my mum. There's a picture of my mum next to, I'll tell you, my sister, when my son was born, my mum used to wear a T-shirt. Excuse me, bloody hell. My mum used to wear a T-shirt. Brightly coloured thing, faded. So what my sister did is she got that T-shirt and she got it made into a little T-shirt that fit onto a bear. And I have a picture of my son holding that bear, and the picture's in black and white, but the T-shirt part of it's in colour. Absolutely floods of tears when I saw that for the first time. Incredible, incredible. I can't see Leeds getting all their targets in the transfer market. It's difficult to negotiate when you're trying to get top targets. I suspect James will be used as wing-back. Wilson might be. Yeah, listen, we won't get everybody. It's one of those things. It's just part and parcel of it. Option when ahead or chasing a goal, but always looks like mistakes will happen. Tanaka, Paul, is the it's a confidence thing with Tanaka. It's unfortunately, it's just one of the ways that goes. Agent Smith, you're welcome, mate, anytime. The chat talking to loved ones is a big part of cultures around the world. Right, please keep those. 100%, Mark. Yeah, Lloyd, I agree. For me, Tanaka is more of an attacking player. Sits further forward, and I think sometimes that wonders when it comes in. Oh, new member, Pallet. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you. Welcome to the squad. Develop your podcast going forwards, vlogs, live chats like this, watch-alongs. I don't think I'll ever do watch-alongs, because if I do watch-alongs, I will get banned within about 3 seconds, because my language gets very, very fruity, and some streaming services don't like that. So live streams, yes, I'll definitely do more live streams. I've got no issues with that at all. Like I said, I only plan to come on for half an hour today just to test the water. And I thought to myself, I'll just go on while certain games are playing. And it'd be a nice little quiet one. And then you all came in and started talking to me. But yeah, so I've got the ground stuff that I like to do at the moment. Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you. I've got the ground stuff that I like to do. Going and doing that. Security guards have been a little bit nicer to me recently, so that's good. But yeah, it's great. What's that say? John, you're not being boring, mate. You're absolutely, please don't ever think you're being boring at all. It's not boring. You're expressing, and that's the main thing. When problems tend to happen is when we bottle stuff up, and that's the dangerous thing to do. Trust me, I'm not perfect. I do it myself, and it happens. It's why I go to the gym religiously now. It's why I keep, I was 120 kilos this time last year. I'm now 84, 85 kilos. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. And throwing weights around and punching a punching bag makes me feel 1,000,000% better. Yeah, that's probably Bornauw's biggest problem, is the fact that he doesn't. His pace isn't as fantastic. Tanaka tracking back for World Cup didn't end. No, it didn't end well at all, mate. Said to Fark, I want to play football. Fark said he couldn't guarantee. Yeah, correct, Arthur. Fark has been open and honest about that. They had quite an open and honest conversation about it in terms of where they were and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. So they just kept it. They just, like I said, that's why there's no malice in him moving and leaving. It's an open discussion. You can get fresh air, Paul, long walks. Where I live right next to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, so there's stunning walks around there, and there's like a big farm walk that we can go on. It's amazing. Small friend group. Understand that, Michael, yeah. You're enjoying the ground stuff, Paul. Being in Ireland, it makes me feel like I'm close. Mate, that's why I decided to do it. I wanted to do that as much as I could do. Try to arrange a towel from it on Row for him next year. Cool. Keep on it and make sure you get it done. I had a look at Road on it out wide because of Elvedi coming in. Possibly. There is talk about that, mate, because of Joe Salah going up the wing. He's been quite good. Okay, now I never want to go back there again. Yeah, CB, I've been dealing with it for 10 years. The anxiety, panic attacks that I used to get were crippling. Gym, mainly. Eating habits. I had a really, really poor relationship with food. Like, really poor relationship with food. I was eating shit. There's no two ways about that. Pictures. Yeah, same thing. I always talk to my mum. Thank God for Leeds United. My mum passed away in 1971. Leeds are like a surrogate mother. Yeah, they are a little bit. Yeah, Agent Smith, gym is incredible. It's really, really good. It's really, really important as well. That's what I try to do. Get the drone out and get it in there. Fighting weight. That's what you could call it. I'm not a season ticket holder, but I am a member. I am lucky in the fact that sometimes I get gifted a couple of tickets by people that have season tickets, and it's I'm lucky in that sense. I went to all but 2 of the home games last season, which was great. Michael, thank you for that comment, Michael. That's really, really nice. Right, guys and girls. Tarek on the back of my new Leeds United shirt. Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's Tarek. I'm going to call it for now because we've done an hour and 15 minutes, which I wasn't expecting to do, but it's been phenomenal. Listen, thank you to all of you that have watched, that have commented, liked, all of that kind of good stuff. I genuinely appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, as ever, for your time, for your words, and just for your kindness. This is a community that's been built over the last 2 or 3 years, and long may it continue. And long may it go as the way it does. Tarek looks unreal. Yeah, he is. And also on Finalysis. I'm on Finalysis. I can't remember what my name is. PDB 1980, I think. No, it's the Leeds Therapy. Capital T, capital something or other. Good to talk. More of this in the future. But yes, I promise I will do more. It won't be so long before we do anything like that. And yeah, if I do, I'll jump on and I'll come and talk to everybody as I usually try and tend to do. So, on that one, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say in all of my videos, take care of each other, but please, more importantly, take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Much love. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your